Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you had a great week. Another amazing week if you like excitement. So certainly for the past 2 years, if not for pretty much the past 3 decades, there's rarely a dull moment in this market. Today is the 14th of January, and this is your Friday planning video. Yes, I will save the rest of the market commentary and the market ideas for the Monday video, so be sure to come back. Remember, that video is where we dig into what happened the prior week and we talk about what we're looking for in the coming week. Let's get back to our focus. Let's talk about planning. I read a great story this week about a physical that the author was taking. The doctor was reading the EKG and said that it was obvious that that person was having a heart attack, only to realize that as a marathon runner and with a low heart rate, this was not the case. So the doctor went to work, asking questions, reviewing medical history. How does your body react to this? And what happens when you encounter this? This came to remind me of something that I come across often these days. When I sit down with you to discuss your financial plan, there's an occasional response like, I put this information into the computer, or I took a 5-question risk tolerance quiz, and this is what I should do for my plan. Well, as I've told you, I love the beginning of the year. Well, I like beginnings of a lot of things. I like beginning of the year, beginning of the month, beginning of the quarter. It just allows for an obvious place to revisit what we're doing. Garbage in, garbage out. That's what they say about computers. And I'm not suggesting that the 5-question risk tolerance quiz that you take is not worth something. But like the EKG, it can be misread. So there are often, if not always, other things to take into account. So as we start the new year, let's review a few things that we'll be doing together when we meet to develop the proper dynamic plan for you. You've heard this one from me over and over again. And after a year like the last 2, does your portfolio still have the proper risk for your goals? You've heard me joke that if you're under 40, you probably need me to remind you that stocks actually can go down. But I will tell you, I'm having these conversations with not just the people below 40 anymore. So a lot of people these days, yes, we know stocks usually come back over time, but they don't always come back when you need them to. And this is only true if you don't get shaken out of the market. As you can see, I have on my wall the chart from 1999 when the Dow Jones Industrial Average hit 10,000 for the first time. Something interesting to note if you think about it. More than 50% of U.S. households own stock. And if the market did this into 1999, you'd think what? Everyone made a mint on the stock market, right? Well, no. This may be the case if you got in here and you held fast up to here. But I know that's not always the case. I know that I was taking calls left and right on March 23rd, 2020 from sellers and buyers. No one could take it anymore. Only one side of that trade was the right one that day. So the point of that is you have to take a step back and see if the market has moved the risk tolerance of your portfolio and has moved it off the mark. So I think you get that one. So how about the important question? What has changed in your life? Have the education plans of your children changed? Your plan at work changed? How about the disruption of our industries? And maybe you need to work from home for a little while, or maybe going forward, or maybe you get to work from home. How will that affect your plans in the future? How about tax changes? Going to the next level, Dorothy Miller and Elaine Brody, 2 social workers in 1981, came up with the term sandwich generation. Are you caring for your children and your parents? This is not something that our grandparents' generation dealt with. Who is counting on you for support? Be honest. Now, they'll have to get along for themselves. Really, who'll be the one calling and asking for some financial help in coming years? Will you be prepared for that? Moving towards the end goal for many. What do you want your retirement to look for? Where do you want that? Has anything changed in that particular thing in the last 2 years? Did COVID change your mind about working all the way into the 70s, into the 60s, maybe in the 50s? I heard that this week. What are you doing to make that happen? How much will it cost? How will you access the funds if you need them prior to when you originally planned to get them? Well, all of this is what we'll work through as we unpack your plans, wishes, wants, and dreams. This may sound simple, and I have to tell you, it is simple. It's just not easy. So remember the line from a few weeks ago. The noise is getting in the way of a lot of the signal. It's the beginning of another year. It's time to make it count again. As I've said, this is dynamic. We do have to revisit it often. So plan on these and many more questions like it when we meet to review your plan in 2022. For now, have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay in touch. Happy Friday.